Join me as I dive into the fascinating world of the priming effect on our brains and challenge myself to see just how much it influences my thoughts and actions in real time. Priming is a fundamental concept in psychology that refers to the way our brain responds to certain cues, stimuli, or experiences, and how those responses can shape our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. It's an incredibly powerful phenomenon that plays a significant role in our everyday lives, influencing everything from our social interactions to our purchasing decisions. The priming effect can lead to both positive and negative outcomes in our thinking and decision-making. For instance, if we're exposed to words related to kindness, we're more likely to exhibit generous behavior. On the other hand, if we're primed with negative emotions like fear or anxiety, we might become more aggressive or risk-averse. This highlights the importance of recognizing the subtle influences that shape our responses to the world around us. Our brains are wired to respond rapidly to stimuli, often bypassing our rational thinking. This means that priming can occur outside of our conscious awareness, making it a powerful force in our lives. For example, research has shown that people who are primed with the concept of money are more likely to be selfish and less likely to help others. Priming can also affect our perceptions of others. If we're primed with stereotypes or biases, we might view people through a distorted lens, perpetuating harmful attitudes and discriminatory behaviors. This underscores the need to be mindful of the information we're exposed to and the influences that shape our attitudes. The priming effect is also closely tied to classical conditioning, where our brains associate certain stimuli with specific responses. This can lead to the formation of habits, both positive and negative. For instance, if we're primed with images of smoking, we might experience cravings or feel more tempted to smoke. Advertising is a prime example, no pun intended, of how the priming effect can be used to influence our purchasing decisions. Advertisers often use subtle cues, imagery, and language to prime us with certain emotions or associations, nudging us towards buying their products. This highlights the importance of being aware of the messages we're being exposed to and taking control of our consumer choices. Social interactions can also be heavily influenced by priming. For instance, if we're in a group where people are being overly critical, we might start to feel more anxious or self-conscious. On the other hand, if we're surrounded by supportive and encouraging individuals, we might feel more confident and motivated. Memory recall is another area where the priming effect plays a significant role. Our brains are wired to associate certain stimuli with specific memories, which can be triggered by subtle cues. For example, if we smell a certain scent that reminds us of a specific event or place, it can evoke powerful emotions and memories. One striking study that demonstrates the power of priming is the famous Florida Effect study. In this study, participants who were asked to walk to a room with a faint smell of citrus were more likely to use words related to cleanliness and purity in their descriptions of a hypothetical person. This shows just how subtly priming can influence our thoughts and behaviors. In another study, participants who were primed with words related to aging and elderly people walked slower when leaving the experiment room compared to those who weren't primed. This highlights the profound impact that priming can have on our physical behaviors and attitudes. The door in the face technique is another classic example of priming in action. In this technique, someone makes an unreasonable request and then scales it back to a more reasonable one. Our brains are primed to respond positively to the second request because it's seen as more reasonable in comparison to the initial request. This technique is often used in sales and marketing to manipulate people into agreeing to certain deals or offers. In conclusion, the priming effect is a powerful force that shapes our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. By recognizing its influence, we can become more aware of the subtle cues that shape our responses and make more informed choices in our daily lives. Thanks for watching, and I'd love to hear about your own experiences with priming in the comments below. Don't forget to check out my other videos on cognitive psychology and the fascinating world of the human brain.